Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60andMe. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired and informed, and we have a very interesting and important topic to discuss with you today. This video is sponsored by Identity Defense, a company that offers powerful and comprehensive identity theft protection services. And my guest today is Stephanie Brucheri. She is the head of the insurance and identity department at Identity Defense and has been in this business for 15 years, knows everything there is about this identity theft and financial theft business. So welcome, Stephanie.
Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I am so happy to have you here because this is honestly a topic that gets raised all the time at 60andMe. Women are concerned about it, and this topic is so big that Stephanie and I decided to do this in 4 videos. So this is well, as we're recording, the 4th video in the series. We've done romance and shopping scams, we've done passport theft and credit card theft using technology, and you'll find all those videos on our 60andMe YouTube channel. But anyway, the thing about this one today is that it's so prevalent, and especially, well, not that they're all not important to us, but this for older women is one that gets us: phone scams and spam. So first of all, Stephanie, tell us the difference, just at a high level, between a phone scam and phone spam, and which one we should worry about.
Sure. So they are different. So a spam call is an annoying call, like a telemarketing call, that's asking you to answer questions, donate money, or to buy something. It's kind of like an unsolicited and unwanted solicitation.
Yeah.
A scam call is more like a phishing call. And a phishing call or a phishing attempt is a deliberate attempt at the theft of information that can have much more impactful and terrible outcomes, because they are the person who's calling you is trying to capture your personal information for other purposes.
Right. Okay, so let's go through this. The scams are the ones that we want to be careful about, and there's some very powerful ones that we can be vulnerable to. So let's talk about just some of the scams that your company Identity Defense looks out for and helps to monitor and make you aware. So
sure.
Let's go.
I'm going to talk about 4 that are the most, that are what we're seeing that are increasing in the trends when you think about phone scams. The first one is what we call government scams. And in this one, the scammer pretends to be like from the Internal Revenue Service,
right.
The Social Security Administration, or maybe even Medicare. And there is always a threat of danger, right? They may say you have unpaid taxes, or they may threaten arrest, or they may say that your Medicare benefits are in danger. And they often sponsor, these government impersonators often sponsor what we call spoof phone numbers, and they look like they could legitimately be coming from one of these government agencies, or they call from the same zip code. And the goal for these is always to scare you into paying. They'll typically include like a link, or they want you to download an attachment or provide some information. But we should all be aware that real law enforcement and federal agencies are not going to call and threaten you in any way, shape, or form. So when you get a call like that, I've gotten them plenty of times about unpaid taxes, or coming from the IRS. These are, no one's going to call you and threaten you, and certainly no one is going to become aggressive from a government agency or a law enforcement agency on the phone and try to propose that there's some kind of imminent danger to you.
Well, I've had to wait on the phone with the IRS for some time. So if I have to wait like half an hour, it's very unlikely that they're going to be calling me.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right.
Seriously. But there's, and that's something we can talk about later if you like, but there are some companies that are never going to call you.
Right.
There's no reason that they will ever call you. So, okay, so government scams is an important one. And the next one you think we should think
Number
about?
2 is what we call the grandparent scam. And this one is kind of scarily cunning, because typically what happens is the caller may call you and say something very innocent like, "Hi, Grandma, do you know who this is?" And they'll start the conversation that way. And they're really prompting the grandmother or whoever they're calling, who's being called. They'll typically respond with the name of the grandchild that caller sounds most like.
Yeah.
And then they've kind of got you, because once they're in, this fake grandchild will then ask for the grandparent to help them by providing some kind of money. Maybe they have overdue rent, or they have a car repair that they need to be done, that they need help with. And they'll ask the grandparent to send them money, typically in the form of a money transfer or a gift card. But what's a really telling piece of this particular scam is they'll typically ask the grandparent, "Don't tell anyone." I don't want my mom to know that I'm in this situation, or that I had to
Wow.
call you. So they want the call to be kind of secret, and they'll typically ask for a gift card or a money transfer, because those two types of payment don't really typically require much identification to collect, and they can easily collect that money and be gone before you even know that you've been scammed.
Yeah. No, when I first heard about this one, as you said, that first sentence of, do you know who this is? I mean, especially if they do like a little
Yeah.
the phone line and they say something, they're in danger, like your grandmotherly instincts
Yeah,
are
your
moving. What do you need?
heartstrings.
Where do I send it? How do I do this? And it's so important. Okay, so grandparenting scams for
Yeah, that's your
sure.
first, yeah,
Yeah.
that's your first reaction is, I'll do anything, right?
Yeah, and
So
and this is another thing. But we talked about another video about this, that women in their 60s, well, older women, well, women in general, we're just empaths, and we just want to help people. And it's like, yes, okay, whatever you need.
that's
So
it.
anyway, that's one to definitely look out for everyone. And if you've
Absolutely.
had this experience before, by the way, as we're going through this conversation, leave your comments in the section below, because we can learn from your experience how it happened. So what is another one that you mentioned?
So
You mentioned
the third
Medicare.
I'm going to talk about is Medicare scams.
Yeah.
So Medicare scams are, if you think about Medicare, every U.S. citizen, and I know we have a global audience here, but in the U.S., every U.S. citizen over the age of 65 qualifies for Medicare. So there's never really a need for a scam artist to try to figure out what your private health insurance company is. They know what it is.
Yeah.
So when they call you, they pose as a Medicare representative, and they ask for information so that they can process your Medicare or continue to provide you Medicare services, or they might threaten that your Medicare is at risk. But another piece of the Medicare scam is, they may actually go so far as to set up a makeshift mobile clinic, and then you go to the makeshift mobile clinic to have some type of bogus service, and then they bill your Medicare for that service and pocket the money.
Oh my gosh. Has there been anything related to the pandemic that would?
Oh, absolutely. Like false vaccination, clinics, all things like that. Yes, absolutely. That was like, the fact that we had this pandemic was fodder for, it was a perfect opportunity to run the scam.
Actually, now that you mention this, I actually had an email that maybe other people, I'm in Switzerland, so maybe it was a European thing, but when the vaccinations were going on here, they were happening in stages. So certain categories of people got the vaccination first, and
Yep.
then after the high risk areas, they would go down. Anyway, I got an email that said, you have been given a space, you have been allocated a space to get your vaccination ahead of the normal number, the normal category. Just contact this number. And so I knew right away that wasn't the case, not here in Switzerland, but in other countries, it might be the case where, they do prioritize different people, but it was a fake. And the reason that I found that out was that my son showed me how to, and this is another technology thing, but how you can see what address sent the email. By going by, like, I think you reply to no, you don't reply, but you can look at how the email was formatted and see where it wasn't from the local vaccination center. So yeah. So anyway, that's good to know that other people, well, not good to know, but you're on top of it. Identity defense is there for you, folks.
That's great.
Really.
The fourth one I'm going to talk about is technical support scams,
Okay.
and this can affect all of us. But these are scams where you get a pop-up message on your screen, or maybe you get a phone call that says that your device is compromised. I'm sure you've gotten these before,
I've got
and that it needs to be fixed. And so when you call the support number for help, the scammer often will ask you for remote access to your computer, or that you have to pay a fee in order to get it fixed. No one is monitoring your computer so closely that they're reaching out to you to say, hey, I detected something's wrong with your computer, you need to get it fixed. There's no one monitoring your computer that closely.
Also, they send messages saying they've got pictures of you.
Oh yeah, that's a scary one.
I've had that one too.
You start thinking, what pictures?
Well, exactly. But no, this is the way they do it, though. They just scare you. I mean, it's just a matter of, of just being caught off guard. But technology, I mean, I worked at Microsoft for many years. And so I know that a Microsoft engineer is never going to call you ever.
That's right.
They've been scanning, the computers in Portland, Oregon, and they've detected, they may on their website say that there's some bug or something that's being worked on or whatever, but no one's going to ever call you. So that's true of Google, I'm sure, and anyone.
That's true.
So anyway, what other, so let's go to some legitimate businesses that won't ever call you. So you said the government won't call you. I've said that Microsoft won't call you. What other ones?
You know, any reputable organization, like an established, even a bank or established bank, established retail outlet, they're
Yeah.
never going to call you and ask you for a password, a PIN, or your social security number. So it's not necessarily will they ever call you, it's what they'll ask for. And no reputable organization is going to ask for those two things.
Mhm.
And no company like that is ever going to ask you for money or to transfer funds. If you get calls like that, or if you suspect the calls, just hang up and call the number you find online to see if that is actually tied to that organization, to see if they're actually really trying to reach out to you.
Well, that was my next question. Like, how can you prevent this? I mean, how can you stop this activity? I mean, I know that Identity Defense has got some options, and I'd be happy to, if you chat about that. But in general, what's the first thing you can do?
The first thing I would do, I'm going to separate it into spam and scam for a second.
Okay.
For spam calls, which are unwanted solicitations, you can put yourself on the do not call list. There's a do not call list at donotcall.gov.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and you can just put your name on that list. It's free of charge, and you put your cell phone and your landline phone if you have one.
Mhm.
And it's supposed to help limit your the calls that they're not really supposed to call you if you're on that do not call list.
But that's going to be
If a
US,
spam
isn't
call,
it?
I'm sorry.
That's US.
Yes, yes. If a spam call does happen to get through, just simply hang up. Scam calls or phishing calls are a little bit harder to prevent. But should you receive one, there's a few things you can do to protect yourself. First, just ignore the pleas and pitches. No one should be calling you and asking you for money, like I said, or to transfer funds. And I think it's important for viewers to know that you can't always rely on caller ID, because
Mhm.
those caller ID tools, they can also be faked and
Really?
hacked, and it can make it look like someone is actually calling you from a number that you're familiar with. And then, like I said earlier, if you're in doubt, it's always a good idea to say, thank you for the information, and I'll call you back. That's happened to me. I've gotten a call supposedly from Amazon that someone, wanted to make sure that I had authorized the purchase of a new computer or a new cell phone. And I knew I had not purchased one,
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
needed access to my account information and my credit card to be able to verify the purchase. And I thought that sounds off. So I said, thank you very much for the information. And then I called my credit card company as well as Amazon and found that no purchases had been made and there was no record of that purchase. So if you think that something's suspicious, you can always say thank you and then just call back the number who they say they're calling from and see if that's actually a legitimate call.
So I know that people are watching this video, maybe in isolation, not having watched the other 3 videos. So tell us a little bit about Identity Defense, what your service includes, and we're going to have a link for 60andMe members to take advantage. That'll be underneath this video in the description box. But just tell us a little bit about what kind of monitoring services can help with this.
Sure. So at Identity Defense, we really structure our protection services around 3 pillars of security or defense. And the first is monitoring. With your permission or the permission of our member, we monitor certain accounts that are important to them, like their bank accounts or their credit card accounts, as well as a bunch of other accounts that we can monitor. Public records. There's a list of different types of accounts, but we monitor those accounts looking for suspicious activity or things that just seem off. And then when we find something, or we know about we know about a scam and see that your personal information is associated with that scam, we will alert you, typically in near real-time alerts, let you know that something is suspicious is going on, and you can determine whether, yes, I did authorize that transaction, or yes, I was opening that new account, or I wasn't. And then the third pillar is recovery. If you find yourself in a situation where you have been a victim of a scam, you have been a victim of identity theft, we have specially trained identity theft protection specialists who can help you with your recovery. There's a few features that within Identity Defense that I think help specifically with phone scams or phishing scams. And one of those is, I would say, is our dark web monitoring feature, where you can register all kinds of things on our dark web monitoring feature. You can register your passport number, credit cards, bank accounts, even your phone numbers, and we put them on a watch list. And then we, along with some specialists in this area, help monitor that dark web. And we look and see if your member information that you've registered is being detected for sale anywhere on the dark web, and alert you to that, and then guide you to how you can, steps you can take to help protect yourself.
No, that's really helpful information, Stephanie. I was actually thinking about the fact that you're in the United States, and some of the things you refer to are United States language. But the truth is, a lot of our women are in the US, so this is totally relevant. But I was thinking, as you were talking about monitoring, I know you mentioned it before in another video about credit agencies, and I was thinking about the challenges sometimes with your credit rating. You may not even know that something's going on with a credit agency, and I think part of your monitoring includes, I mean, the credit agency could be one of the groups or the bank or the group that you monitor, so that if anything weird happens on your credit rating, then that can affect all kinds of things.
Yeah, we do. We monitor your in the US, we monitor your credit bureau accounts to make sure that, you know, everything that, and we actually send you updates, like you get notices when something changes in your credit bureau accounts. That's also always a good way to figure out if something's going on that you didn't suspect or that you didn't authorize. But we also make sure that we monitor transactions that happen way before would ever get on your credit card credit report. You know, with your actual, if new accounts are being opened, or with your, like if someone's using your identity to validate to be able to gain access to account. These are the type of things we alert you on that would happen way before it would ever show up on your credit report.
Okay. This is super helpful. I think that people will find this information invaluable, and I'm really grateful that you took the time to come and chat with us. And, you know, we've been through a lot of topics, and I hope that we've answered as many questions as we can. Is there anything that we've missed here? I think you talked about donotcool.gov. Is there anything on this phone scam?
I think we got it. I think we hit it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, if you've got any questions, everybody, please leave them in the section below. And, you know, you may not want to leave too much of your private information, but if you've been impacted by anything here, please leave a comment. Stephanie and I will be checking the messages and the comments and when the videos are released. And as I mentioned, in the description box under this video will be a link to a special page that 60andMe members can go to and get some further information for you. So I think this has been really helpful. I've certainly learned a lot. My head is like, the risks but you're there for us. You've got our backs.
We do. Thank you. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it. It's been really fun to talk about these things.
It's my pleasure, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.